Hello everybody, this is Yoko's Anime Reactions, and this is going to be my review for Avatar The Last Airbender, episodes 7 and 8. I didn't actually plan to get these two done together, but it ended up working out that way because this is the episodes, the Water Solstice Part 1 and Water Solstice Part 2. So it worked out perfectly. Aang and the others end up running across a part of the forest that has been burned down by firebenders. It looks like a gigantic scar on the land, essentially, is what it looks like. And Aang is obviously upset because, as the Avatar, he needs to try and figure out how to protect people, how to protect the land, and everybody in it. Thankfully, Katara tells him, essentially, that there are acorns everywhere, and eventually the forest will grow back, despite this. Because, nature is freaking versatile. It'll grow back. And it's going to let fire stop it. It's going to grow back. And this cheers them up a bit. So they end up... someone ends up coming up to them and asking confirming that, he's the Avatar. And he asks them for their help. It turns out that their village has been attacked the past few nights. Every night by a creature called... Dang it, what was it? Haibe? I don't know what the heck. I'm forgetting already. Haibe, whatever the heck the spirit's name is. And as the Avatar, he's supposed to be able to be like the bridge between their world and the spirit world. Or not really the bridge, more like, I guess you could say, the mediator. I don't know. And they ask him for his help, and he offers to help. Hang on, I'm adjusting my glasses. Anyway, sunset comes, and everybody else is hiding in one of the buildings while they're watching Aang try to do this. And when the thing shows up, it looks like a gigantic monster, and he tries to talk to it, but obviously it is not it's not in a talking mood. It's just wanting to destroy. And Sokka has enough of watching this, and he goes out to try and help him fight because talking isn't getting anywhere, essentially, at this point. It's too riled up. It grabs Sokka and runs off with him. Aang tries to follow, and Aang manages to grab onto his hand right before they disappear. So Aang tries to go back to the village where everybody is waiting, and nobody can see him, because he is now in the spirit world. Because somehow, I guess when he grabbed Sokka, it connected him to the spirit world before they disappeared. So now he has no clue what's going on. He can't airbend, which makes perfect sense, because it's not his physical body. It's like, I guess you could say, his soul. His mind, his soul, something like that. And he's still trying to figure this out because he has no clue what he's doing. A dragon shows up, and it turns out this is Avatar Roku's dragon. So it takes him to a temple in the Fire Nation on a Crescent Moon Island, and essentially tells him that he will be able to talk to Avatar Roku when on the solstice, essentially, on the winter solstice. And he goes back to his body that is sitting in the burned forest, and he realizes what's going on. Or no, he doesn't realize what's going on just yet. He goes back to the village and essentially tells him he'll try again. And he tries again, and he realizes that it's the spirit, the monster attacking them is the spirit of the forest, and it's angry that this forest was destroyed. Which, I do not blame it. If my home was destroyed, I'd be ticked off too. And he essentially reassures it that, yes, even though this happened, the forest will still grow back. And with that, the spirit leaves, and all the people that were taken were brought back. And thankfully, yeah, everything is back to normal, and Aang tells them that he has to go to that island so he has a chance to talk to Avatar Roku and try and figure some of this stuff out. Because he actually got a vision as well involving a comet. Oh boy, Susan's comet. We're getting into that already. And it turns out the winter solstice is essentially the next day. So he has to do it before the sun set, essentially before the sun sets tomorrow. So as soon as they pack up and leave, Zuko shows up. And actually there's a subplot involving Zuko and Iroh, where Iroh found a hot spring and he's enjoying it. And Zuko tells him, hurry up, we have to go, we don't want to lose the Avatar. And he ends up falling asleep and missing the 30-minute deadline. He goes to get up. Airbenders show up and take him hostage. Which makes sense considering not only is he of the Fire Nation, but he is the general that besieged Ba Sing Se for, 600 or 900 days? I can't remember. I think it was 600 days. And I noticed that Iroh is very, very spiritually perceptive, because as they're riding along, he sees Aang on that dragon as it flies by. None of the others see it. So he is very spiritually perceptive. Though considering what I've read on his character from, stuff that we don't get to see in the anime. I say anime, it's not an anime, it's a cartoon, but it should be an anime. Yeah, he is apparently very spiritual. Anyway, he manages to get away, but they catch him, obviously. And Zuko shows up in the nick of time to stop them from, crushing his hands, because that's essentially what firebenders use most of the time. And they team up and take down the earthbenders. And, that later is when Zuko shows up again. Essentially knowing that the Avatar was there, because he had to choose between going after the Avatar or finding his uncle. And he chose finding his uncle. And also, I'm wondering something. Either Iroh has a unique smell to him, or his feet have a unique smell to them, because Zuko found Iroh's sandal, shoe, whatever you want to call it, sniffed it, and said, yeah, that's Uncle Iroh. How did he know that? I'm curious, yet kind of disgusted that he would know that scent. What have you been doing with your uncle? I know nothing is nothing like that. I'm not insinuating everything, but why else would he know that scent? Good God. Or maybe his shoes smell of tea leaves and he realized that was his uncle. I don't know. Anyway, they make their way to the island that they have to go to, essentially booking it there, because, they don't have a lot of time to get there. And turns out Commander Zhao is now forming a blockade, because not only is the Avatar heading his way, Zuko's heading his way. And essentially the island is in Fire Nation territory. Oh boy. And, yeah, they try and shoot Aang and the others down. It obviously doesn't work. They manage to get through the blockade. Zuko tries the same thing. And it looks like he will be captured because, they got him cornered. But no, Zhao lets him through because he knows that Zuko will lead him straight to the Avatar. And, yeah, Zuko's idea of trying to evade Zhao is not a bad one, because they did get their ship took damage. And it's blowing out smoke like crazy. He tries to use that smoke as a smoke screen to send out a small little ship so he could get out away from Zhao without him noticing. I'm like, that actually wouldn't have been a bad idea. Sadly, Zhao is not stupid. Anyway, they managed to get to the island, and the fire sages there attack them. Except one. And it turns out that the fire sages have been corrupted by Fire Lord Ozai and serve him instead of the Avatar that they are supposed to normally only serve. Because, the Avatar wasn't around, and only one of them is still loyal to the Avatar. So he helps them get to the main room they gotta get to, but in order to open the door, either a fully formed Avatar that knows, all the elements, or, dang it, what was it, 4 or 5 I think it was 5 fire sages have to do 5 simultaneous fire blasts in order to open the door. Sokka tries to find a loophole with the fire blast by setting off little bombs in each hole, but sadly it does not work. It looks like it worked though, so they try to use that to get them to open the door, thinking that the Avatar's already inside. Aang would have jumped through at that point, but sadly Zuko showed up at that point and tried to run away with him as his hostage. Aang manages to get away and get in just as his doors closed. And thankfully now it is locked because Roku doesn't want them butting in. Aang gets to talk to Roku, and we find out that comet is what started the war in the first place. Essentially, it boosts Firebender's power, and Firelord Sozin, 100 years ago, used it to start the first strike in the war. And essentially, it's coming around again. So Aang needs to stop Firelord Ozai before that comet shows up, or else Firebenders are going to be a whole heck of a lot more powerful. And they're already going to have a hard time enough. So Aang needs to master all the elements before the end of summer, because that's when the comet's going to show up. And apparently, I guess Roku can sense what's going on outside because he warns Aang that essentially something's waiting for him when he gets out of this vision. And Avatar Roku uses the Avatar state and takes over Aang's body when the doors open and essentially destroys the temple, causing everybody to have to flee. Aang and Sokka and Katara end up staying behind. And when they get Aang, they try to get out of there. And thankfully they can get out thanks to Momo having brought Appa, and they jump through, a hole and get out of there. Zuko manages to get away as well, and Zhao is now left with the Fire Sages, who he thinks they all helped him, essentially, except it was only the one, and he doesn't care when they try and explain. So, yeah, this is definitely going to be an interesting ride for Aang and them. They've now got a big time limit on him mastering all the elements. So they've got to book it to the North Pole, essentially. However, Book 1 Water, which is, I think, where they do have the whole thing and then the stuff at the North Pole, is 12 episodes from now. So I don't know what the heck they're going to be doing in that time, but they gotta hurry, essentially. Anyway, I'll get this uploaded and I'll see you guys next time.